Hello and welcome to the Lorcana Muses Podcast.
Hi.
I'm Brittany.
I'm Stephanie.
And we are so excited to have you back for episode 2. We had so much support in our first episode that we were not expecting, and we are excited to share with you even more.
Yes, we're so excited for episode 2 and to continue on. Definitely did not expect such amazing support from our local community as well as around the world getting listeners. And some of the feedback we received was definitely a more defining role of who is the casual player and who's the competitive player. This is Stephanie, and I am more of the casual player. This is my first set championship I'm participating in. I've only ever done a couple of tournaments here and there while playing, and I have been playing since chapter 2.
And this is Brittany, and I participate more in the competitive side of the Lorcana scene, and I play more often based on scheduling and everything like that. However, I will say that while competitive, I don't necessarily feel that you have to be competitive to go out to these major events.
Yes, absolutely. I just went to my first set championship, and being my first and being a more casual player, I felt right at home. Everybody was so welcoming. They were so excited for the Ursulas card and mat to win, and it was just really awesome to go and to experience. With that said, this episode is focusing definitely more on my experience as a first-time casual player going, Brittany's experience as her second set champions. She actually won Rockstar Stitch at the last set championship, so she's really excited to be participating in this one.
I really would love to win an Ursula to go alongside my Stitch. I am not playing as well as I did during those sets, so I am definitely working on building up my confidence and my familiarity with the new deck that I built. I actually went away from my Christmas deck that I was talking about in the last episode because it just was not working. I was playing locally a bunch of times, and it was so inconsistent, and it was being discarded so much with all the Bucky decks, and with the Ruby Amethyst, it was just being controlled out of, like, I just couldn't play anything and keep anything on the board. So I'm just trying something new. So I actually switched to an Amber Ruby deck that kind of focuses on using Just in Time and Jim Hawkins and the RLS Legacy as a really like turn 3 like game changing moment. But if that doesn't happen, I have Flynn Rider. And to go with Flynn Rider, I also have the Mufasa. So if Mufasa gets removed, which there's so much removal, then possibly he brings in another character. Hopefully, that's the goal. I also have like the healing elements with Rapunzel to get more card draw, because you need that with the squirrel. And I am just hoping that I can tweak it and get it even better, because it did better than expected. And then I've been playing locally at the championship, even though it didn't do fantastic.
Yeah, you didn't get third and get a card.
No, I did not. I did not get a card this time.
How many actual championships did you do last time?
Last time I participated in 4 championships, and so I got 1 card out of the 4, 1 stitch out of the 4. But it's definitely still something to have bragging rights about.
Yeah.
And so I'm still very excited.
Does anybody else in your household have another Stitch?
Definitely not. But I'm hoping, because my husband's playing a lot better than I am right now, and I'm hoping that he can at least win our household and Ursula.
That'd be fun to have a Stitch and an Ursula in a household. We have none, as this is my husband and I's first one. But it's really exciting. And so the first set championship this set we went to was at Sun Valley Gaming in Mesa. There were 32 players. I placed 25th, I believe, which isn't super great. I'm really bummed out actually about how I did. And I did go back to my staple of steel, playing green steel, Bucky discard, but I just think I got way too into my head. A couple things happened that just really kind of put me off. So didn't do as great as I expected, but one of my favorite things to do when I do get really frustrated with losing the game is building really silly decks. I think I mentioned last episode I love building theme decks a lot, and so on Monday I spent time playing like a yellow-green deck with discard and doing Floodborns with the yellow. There's not a ton of legs there, but I did call it my 7-Up discard, which reminded me of 7-Up Heads Up 7-Up as a child's game when I was playing in school. So it was a lot of fun, and I played that with my husband a lot Monday night. And now I'm in a better mood heading into 2 such championships this weekend. So really excited.
Yeah, and I also didn't do that great. I ended up only winning one round when I was playing, and I got one win because my opponent dropped. But so I ended up technically winning 2 rounds, but I was able to at least lose each round 2-1, except for the final round that I lost. So I still felt like I was playing the game as I was losing, but so I definitely felt like I was still in it.
Yeah.
Even if I was not winning, getting in the top 8 and getting to that cut or anything. I will say I was so appreciative of all the opponents that I played against. And it was really neat that our locals, they decided at the end that, hey, we're all really good players. It's kind of just the luck of the draw and how we all get paired up at the end. And so they just did a split of all the pricing. So the top 8 decided, hey, we don't want to keep playing. Like, we've been playing for 5 rounds already, and we want to just split our pricing. And I think that was great. Like, they all agreed to it. And even if they all didn't get the Stitch, and the Ursula, even though they all didn't get the card, they agreed to it. And so they split the cards and the mats
and the store credit
that was added on by Sun Valley as additional pricing.
Yeah.
And I think that was fantastic. Like, it just shows how strong our community is, that, hey, we decided
we all respect each other. Yeah. It's absolutely cool. Everybody had some great feedback for myself. I think kind of beating myself up. We went to dinner afterwards, and Brittany's husband, Daryl, he was super sweet and giving me like feedback and ideas what I can do better. Since I am casual player, I'm still learning how to like best and mulligan, so I get a good first hand. What should I do if I'm going second versus first? What should I do, if I lost game 1 into game 2? So it was really helpful, and I'm really excited for Saturday. My husband's coming with me Saturday, so I'm really excited for him. He is playing Ruby Amethyst, which we saw, I think there was a sea of Ruby Amethyst.
So many Ruby Amethyst. It was definitely overwhelming because we hadn't seen that much when we were playing locally. Ruby Amethyst. Like, it did not seem to be overwhelming, and then we got there and so many players were on Ruby Amethyst, and it was kind of unexpected. I was expecting a lot more of the Bucky discard decks, and we didn't see very many of them.
I only played 1 mirror match, which was interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't play any mirrors with the Ruby Amber that I was playing, but I did see several of the Emerald Amethyst, which I had been seeing locally, but I saw more of them than expected.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely like interesting to see. And I heard that there were other Ruby Amber players playing as well. So it was definitely fun. Now, there was no one playing Christmas, which is what I normally play, so I have no idea how I would have done. Probably still would have been garbage as it has been over the last few weeks. But
homework for everybody listening: if you guys have a good Christmas deck that is like winning championships or your locals, send it to us, because I feel like we have tried every like iteration of Christmas right now to make it work, and it just isn't running as well as we would like. So
and we know that there's something there.
Yeah.
And I mean, we both, like, maybe it's just our local meta.
Yeah.
Because it could just be us, because I have seen online that people are saying that they're winning with them, but we have a lot of players with a lot of removals, so that's probably a big thing.
Yeah, and your mother-in-law runs Ruby Green, right? Christmas colors.
Yeah, so she runs an evasive aggro with Christmas. So
and she beat me when I played her. So
yeah, and she doesn't play in any of the championships. Yeah. She could, but she just decides that she wants to just play more on the local level.
Yeah.
And so, or more casually with the local leagues and everything. So there is some things that I want to emphasize, especially as someone who's played in many championships and many other types of tournaments with Lorcana, and to give some advice for people that are going into it for the first time.
Yeah.
So some general tips, like I am constantly freezing And so I had to make sure I had a jacket, and I used it. Like, it was very cold, and which is great, especially in Arizona in the summertime. Like, I was thankful that it was cold, and I'm sure it wasn't cold to everyone, but it was cold to me, who's always cold, especially when the AC is blasting. So I brought a jacket. But I will say that there are plenty of game stores, both locally or anywhere around the country, that I hear are hot, like during these events, especially when there's a lot more players and you're so close together. So I've heard people bring those neck fans or bringing a hand fan to just keep yourself cool and comfortable.
I saw something on TikTok and I might buy it. It's this new, TikTok shop. I love it because of the stupid gadgets that are on there. But it hooks on your belt and it blows like a constant stream of air like up inside your shirt. So it's always cooling you. I'm like, I need that.
The good updraft.
The good updraft. Just to keep like all the stickiness off of, because your clothes cling to you when you're so hot. And that's part of my issue is when I get really hot and I get overstimulated with the heat, it's because my clothes are clinging and I'm like, I cannot, obviously take the clothes off because it is a public space. But yeah, definitely bring either a fan or jacket or both, even, because you never know what your store is going to be like if you're going and trying out a new store.
And your store on a normal day might be fantastic, but because they have so much movement, so many people in and out, there's more people playing than general. Like, it could be a lot warmer. They could be having, like, it could be 118 outside like it is today, and they're having issues with their air conditioning. I'm just saying, just be prepared when it comes to your temperature. Now, I will say, when it comes to temperature, now, as lady players, I think we're more aware of this than a lot of others, but, like, there is a level of cleanliness that needs to go into gaming that I don't necessarily think always goes into gaming. And so, like, there's a reason why game stores get a reputation for being a little smelly and
a little
sweaty. And so, especially in Arizona, like, where it is just so hot and you can't avoid sweating. You can try to avoid smelling as much as you can. So I will emphasize this as, like, wearing deodorant. Don't wear a lot of cologne. Don't bathe yourself in those things. But bathe yourself in a shower, wear deodorant, and just be respectful of the people around you and how you smell and how you're going to smell to others.
And everybody stinks. I mean,
everybody
it's
stinks.
So hot.
It is hot.
I carry a stick of deodorant in my car. And
absolutely. Absolutely. But just one of those things, like, especially, like, I'm very sensitive to smell. And so I have to, like, I had to bring, like, nausea medication with me because I get so overstimulated by bad smell. And so that's something for me, if I get it in my, like, and it happens often when we play games. And so that's something that I know it might seem kind of rude, but I'm always like, why does it smell? Like it is summer. I understand that. But past that, like, some of these stores should, like, put deodorant, like, spray deodorant in their bathrooms or something.
Some of them do. I know Gamers Guild, like, well, you can just buy deodorant from them, or maybe they hand it out. I can't remember what their policy was. But a lot of stores nowadays, I feel like, are pretty good about keeping their stuff cleanly, and they're trying to do better as more females are starting to come out and play, and they do seem to care a little bit more. So it's just really cool. And then I would also say, whether you're in 118 degree heat or 70 degree heat, it's humid, it's a dry heat, whatever it is, bring water. It's a long, long day. And as much as, like, energy drinks are great and you should bring those too, and your coffees or whatever it is to keep your energy going, also bring water.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And as someone who can't really eat a lot of the junk food that they sell in, like, the game stores, I have to bring healthy snacks. So, like, I brought a lunchbox with me with, like, a cooler that had, like, a protein drink in it and protein chips and cheese, things that I could eat, because I can't eat the chips and the things that are being sold at the game stores, which are, like, shelf stable, and I understand why they sell them there, but I can't eat those. And so I bring things that I can eat so that I keep my energy levels up through the day. So along with that, so I will notice that I always re-sleeve before we have big events, but you need to bring extra sleeves with you for your cards if you play with sleeves. I know there's not a lot of people who don't play with sleeves if you're playing on a more competitive level, but when you're playing with sleeves, like sometimes they split and sometimes they get dirty and things like that, and you need to bring a few extras with you just in case.
Also, if, open your pack you get for participating or whatever it is and you pull an enchanted, you want to be ready.
Absolutely. So bring a top loader, have a few extra things
definitely
ready for you if you're planning on opening your packs.
Your packs there.
Which a lot of people were very excited to open our packs there, and we just ended up not opening our packs at that event.
Yeah.
Which sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. Like Daryl and I, we sometimes open packs when we get them at the store. Sometimes we just wait until we get home so that we can just open them and then organize them all at once. Like
it's such a pain to open and then try to figure out how to get them home nicely and then organize them. I think that is my biggest pain point with this game is I'm also I need everything organized. And I have spent days organizing and cataloging everything we own. And then my husband goes and he buys 5 packs and he opens them, and now I have a whole stack to reorganize and catalog, and it's fun, but it's also definitely a daunting task. So
yeah, no, we have binders upon binders of rare and hollows, and then we have boxes of commons and uncommons, and I mean I feel like we have more singles than some of our game stores do, and so it's definitely one of those things that when we are opening packs, we have to be really cognizant of where we're putting everything. We have a box that we bring with us that we put cards in to organize. But not everybody brings that. And it is definitely a pain to reorganize everything. And you catalog things. I do not. I only just put them in binders.
Yeah, I think cataloging was dumb, but
I definitely do not have a catalog of all of my things.
No, I'm glad I did. I spent I think it was 3 days of cataloging for me, hours upon hours, every single card from set 1 to set 4. But it's nice because now I can just open my phone and, do I have extras to give, or do I have 2 sets of this if my husband and I happen to be playing the same game or same colors. So it's nice, but also it's definitely a pain. But
there are days that I wish I could do it, but then other days where I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't do that because I know I would have to keep it up, and it's so many cards.
I was going to say, it also just breaks my heart a little bit when I see how much all of those cards are worth, and then that's probably how much I also spent on those cards. So this is bad.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's definitely not a cheap hobby. But it is cheaper than a lot of the other card games.
It is cheaper than a lot of the other card games, and it's just fun too. I mean, something we also talked about last episode was just being able to play with so many different groups of people in Lorcana rather than Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or whatever it is, One Piece, Star Wars. My kids are finally getting into it. We play with other kids at our locals. It's so much fun. I love it.
No, I love it so much too. So we're still talking about tips for the championships. So some things also to bring, make sure you have your deck list with you, ready ahead of time.
Yeah.
They will need it, or they're supposed to require it. So you need to have your deck list either printed out, and I know Dreamborn.ink is a really easy way to print a list for yourself. But if you don't print it out, they will have a form for you to fill out with space for you to fill out your cards. Now, if that's the case, you need to get there early so you can fill it out so we can start on time.
Yes.
Because it's a very long event already, and so the longer we wait on people who were not prepared with their deck list, the longer the event goes.
I think that's one of the biggest things I didn't realize last championship is I had scheduled myself to attend at least one, I think, last sets with the Rockstar Stitch. But I've only been ever going to my locals where you spend 3, maybe 4 hours playing. And then I watched you guys spend hours. I'm saying all day or all night. There was one store that didn't even start till 7 and didn't end till 2 a.m. And by then they just did a flip coin, the top 2, to see who won because they were so tired. So that was a really daunting, and that's why I dropped last championship because I wasn't quite ready for that. And then I spent time the next couple of months listening to the tips from Brittany and Daryl and the rest of our community of what to do. I get really anxious easily. I have really bad anxiety. So bringing headphones with me this time for my first one was super helpful. I was able to like decompress in between rounds and listen to music that I know helps re-regulate me and my emotions. Um, and then be ready for, another game. So that was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that like for me, I like really like I play pretty quickly. But I went to turns in one of these rounds, and then it was the next round already.
Yeah.
And I really need that break in between rounds
Yeah.
to really help myself just mentally prepare for the next thing. I also just need to walk around. Like
Yeah.
I'm a teacher by trade, and so like I'm used to just standing and being like walking around all day long. And like even during the summer I still walk around a lot because I need to be ready to go back to teaching and not get so tired standing all day again. But like the sitting for the entirety of the day exhausts me.
Yeah.
And I know it doesn't exhaust everybody, but like it definitely exhausts me just sitting all day. And so I need to be able to walk around in between rounds, but everybody has a different way to calm themselves or to be ready. Maybe they just want to have a side chat. Maybe they want to play a fun game. Like, and that is okay. But you just need to be respectful of whatever person tells you. Like, hey,
no means no.
Yeah, that's one thing that, hey, if maybe somebody doesn't want to play another game as they're waiting in between rounds, that's fully okay to just say, hey, no, I don't want to play, and I want to just calm down and regulate myself and be ready for the next match.
Yes, and take the first answer. Somebody tells you no, thank you. Walk away. Don't ask again. Don't push them. I know we kind of joke no means no, but it's a respect thing and it's a consent thing. And if somebody's not comfortable or doesn't want to even because they're doing what they need to do between rounds, just walk away. So on top of that, I know it's kind of common practice to hover over people when they're playing games, just to see what people are doing and what, to learn their strategy or learn what color they're playing and learn what's going on with that game. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think most people do. But there are a few people that, again, have either anxiety or claustrophobic issues or whatever it is who might need that space. And I just would say just be aware of that. Everybody was so sweet and so welcoming and so nice. And there's a couple of guys there when I don't have my husband with me to kind of like be that, I don't want to say big dad for me because I can stand up for myself, but sometimes it's nice to just say, hey, that guy's bothering me and he won't take no for an answer and please leave it alone. But there's enough people in our community that will definitely have that back for you. So with that said, I'm hoping more girls come out to the games and play. I'm trying to bring in more ladies, as many as I can. Even at Red Robin, when we were at our restaurant afterwards, the waitress was like super interested in what we were doing. And who knows if she'll actually play the game, but just to talk to them and say, yeah, that's really fun, and go check out your local game store. And I would love to see more women play, because in our 32-person event, there was 5 of us, and that was a little sad to see. But I know like not everybody can come out on a Sunday, and it was the first one, or it was the first weekend, I should say. So we'll probably see more, but definitely come on out. Where are you at? We want to see you.
Yeah, no, I keep on encouraging friends of ours to play, and and my sister-in-law plays and my mother-in-law play, and they didn't want to play in the championship because like my sister-in-law is getting ready to judge at the upcoming challenge, and so she's just preparing on that side of Lorcana. She does still play. She just is deciding not to play competitively right now. And then my mother-in-law, like, she just likes to play during the week. She doesn't like to play on the weekends, and so that's another thing. And so like just the timing of things I think makes a big impact.
Summer's it's a good time and it's a bad time for a lot of people, I feel.
And I just feel like so many people are on vacation and like the kids are out on break, right? And so like you might be doing other things. You might have other things that are going on, doing all your local summer fun things, like maybe going to a water park on a weekend or something.
That said, though, don't feel like there isn't. I think one of the things that kept me away from TCGs and Lorcana in general was the idea that it's like this boys club and a lot of men play. But there is people out there. I think more and more women are outspoken and like playing. I mean, there's a wonderful Facebook group called the Lady Lumineers of Lorcana, I believe. And then it's all over the country. It might even be all over the world, but I would have to double check that. But it's just so fun and exciting. And actually, part of the reason I was beating myself up was not doing as well as I would have hoped in the first championship. But then I saw one of the ladies talk about their first championship on that Facebook group, and basically saying, like, just because we are part of the minority and we want to represent women and we want to place and we want to compete and be right up there with like the guys winning, doesn't mean I myself need to be that woman. Just be the one bringing more women into play so that eventually the right one falls in line and wins a stitch. And you don't if you don't want to be a competitive player and you want to continue to be a casual player, you don't feel like you have to be forced to be competitive just because you're a woman.
Well, and
if that makes sense.
You can still play competitively even if you don't win competitively. Like, you can still enjoy the process of playing competitively, even if you're not winning all of the rounds. But I will say, like, I've gotten so much better at the game. Like, just practice, right? And like, I brought a completely new deck. Like, I made the deck on Friday evening and played with it competitively on Sunday. Yeah. So like, and I placed 18th, which is not like fantastic, but like I placed 18th after playing this deck 5 times. Yeah. So like, I think it just helped me realize that I think I'll always be a casual player at heart. I just don't have the time to grind it out. But I like going and still going to the championships. And if I win in Ursula because of whatever reason, then that's wonderful. And if I don't, that's fine too. So I just enjoy meeting new people. I think it's this game has brought me out of my shell so much. So I'm really excited to just meet all the new people. Well, I didn't have much of a shell.
I know.
I didn't have much of a shell to leave because I'm generally pretty outgoing. Yeah. And just can talk to literally anyone.
It's like your superpower. I love it so much.
I can talk to anyone, and so like it's definitely one of those things that, I mean, this just lets me talk to more people more often. I enjoy it because I'm very focused on my job and things like that, and I like being able to talk to people about something outside of being a teacher, right? Being outside of that. And so that's a big reason why I wanted to do the podcast, is having something else other than my profession to talk about. Which I could talk about that too, but I like having the outlet of something else to do. Something else that gives me more power. And even if I'm playing competitively, I still want people to feel comfortable and to come out. And that's my big thing, is welcoming everyone that's new. Like, every time there's someone new, especially like I was one of the first players that was playing at North Valley Games Mesa, and like our local group for that store has grown significantly since we first opened. Like the first week we had like 4 players, and like maybe it was 6, but like it was just really small. And like this last weekend we had 17. And so it's grown so much. And I love my people there. Mm-hmm. And every time there's someone new, I'm like, oh wait, we really need to make sure that they're having fun and that they are like understanding the game and that they want to come back, because like that's how we're going to keep growing our community and keeping people feeling engaged, is to build those relationships with new players. Mm-hmm. And I know that there are a lot of players that are transferring from other TCGs or playing more than one TCG. Yeah. Like we've encountered a lot more Magic players. We've encountered a lot more Pokemon players that are changing to play Lorcana because the community is just so great, which is fantastic. We really want to make sure that we keep that positive and welcoming atmosphere as we are getting deeper into Lorcana, and welcoming new people and welcoming new cards. So I'm so excited about some of the new cards that got introduced. So with those new cards, we're definitely excited to see some of them. So we've had a few that have been introduced since the last time we were podcasting. Like the 7-drop Radigan.
Yay, I love it. I know I switched back from green steel, but I was playing red green with the Bucky discard and Floodborn, so having another Floodborn that looks so cool. And The Great Mouse Detective is top 10 easily. I love that movie, even though it's a weirdly deep cut for Lorcana to put out.
I did think so as well.
I think, was it set 2 that Hiram was introduced?
Mm-hmm. I believe so, yeah.
And it was insane. I was like, who out here, who in Lorcana or Ravensburger is like thinking we need to put The Great Mouse Detective out into these cards? It's so funny. But no, funny. It does suck that he's an uninkable 7-drop, but he hits for 5 and his health is 5. He lures for 3 and he can shift on 4. So
he's evasive.
And your damaged characters get +2 attack, which is always fun.
Especially when you're playing against steel decks.
Yeah.
Because
you're always getting damaged. No, I'm really excited. I hope that they're going to also drop a lower cost for him, because I don't think right now he has a smaller shift target other than if you do morph.
Well, there is a smaller shift target. I think he's a 4, but like it's not
great if you can shift 4.
Yeah.
So we'll see. That's my hope, is to really have that. And then next up, we have a couple more character cards with Luisa Madrigal. She's okay. I'm not super impressed with her. Again, she's uninkable, which is, Daryl always says, what's the best thing you can do with a card, and it's to ink it. So
that's a typical blue player response. However, that 8 health is a good stat.
It is a good stat.
And questing for 3.
If you can I think if you can regularly get up to 6 ink in your games, then
she might really be good in a blurple deck, so a blue-purple deck.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
So with the high you can
8. Ramp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then we have Robin Hood. And again, a 9-drop on Inkable, which is insane.
It definitely is. I'm super excited about him, though, because if you're playing with green at all, like there are other Robin Hood things that you can do with him. You can also play him with Hades. And so...
Yeah, and you can, for each 1 damage on an opposing character, you pay 1 less to play him.
Yeah, so if you would probably be great in a green steel, maybe not even a discard green steel deck, but like you play a Tinkerbell and then you play him.
And then you play him, yeah.
So definitely like...
And to lure for 4?
Yeah, it's insane. And he's warded.
We love a warded fox.
Yes, a warded fox.
And then Ludwig von Drake. Again, I don't know what's with these deep cuts. Give me a Goofy movie if you're going to get a deep cut, but I could go into that forever. Or Darkwing Duck.
I love Ludwig von Drake. All I can hear is his voice in my head.
He's super fun. He's a pretty card. I love that he's like with the bedazzled
like background,
and he's at the punch bowl. His flavor text is really fun.
Absolutely.
So I could see people playing this one in a blue deck for sure.
And you can hear him saying that flavor text in your head.
Yes.
Kaput.
The Tug of War. So it looks like it's an extension from that Stitch card.
Yes, and I mentioned that last time, how I knew it was going to be an extended art card.
Yes.
I was so excited about it.
That is so excited. So let's see. Tug of War. She's an action. Choose 1. Deal 1 damage to each opposing character without evasive, or deal 3 damage to each opposing character with evasive.
So, all the Diablo.
I was going to say
or all the Bucky.
It's a little bit of a later action with it being a 5 cost, but I mean, being able to do 3 damage to each opposing evasive character when you're playing against an evasive deck or against Diablos.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that for sure, it'll be great in anything that has a discount for actions. Like there is an item in red that gives a discount for items. So you can use that.
Okay.
So you can use those things together.
Doing the red steel, that might come back. I've seen a couple of mumblings on, again, Twitter. I love Twitter for all things Lorcana. But I saw a couple of rumblings of people taking red steel to their championships and doing pretty decently. So I would love to see that have more legs.
I would love to do a red steel pirate deck because I love pirates.
Yeah.
And you know that. But it's definitely one of those things that I think when there's more pirates and there's more ways to do it, I would love to do it. I think it would just be fun.
And then we also got the Invited to the Ball yellow action card.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about this one. Like, it's uninkable, and it's just revealing some character cards. I think that there are better cards that do that. But it might see some play. I just don't necessarily think it will.
It kind of already does what like Perdita and Mufasa and all those other cards do, and those are actual characters.
Yeah.
So bodies behind.
Yeah, I always feel like if it's an action, like if a character can already do that action, like
put the character in.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
We'll see though. We'll let the yellow Mufasa people mull it over. And then there's Finders Keepers in purple, which I love Iago. I love this art card, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to see any action at all.
Yeah, no, I just think like it's 5, like it's just really high cost for 3 cards. Like a card draw is always fantastic, but purple already has so much card draw from everything else that they have. I just don't think this card's going to see much action, but maybe again with action discount or something. Maybe in those red purple decks.
And then we have my location I'm really excited for as a Green Steel girly. Sherwood Forest location. Love it. 2-drop. It's inkable. It's got 7 health, so it survives Along Came Zeus, which is always fantastic. All my Robin Hood shift targets, and then also the big Robin Hood, they can move there for free. And then they become warded, so you can't hit them, you can't kill them, which is, again, super awesome.
Yeah, and that secondary effect where if you don't even have to attack with those characters, you can just turn them and pay for them to do some damage without themselves getting damaged.
Yes.
So that would be great for some smaller characters that possibly are at that location. Yeah, I'm a little frustrated by this location. I'll just be honest. Like, I didn't think Green Steel needed anything else.
Well, as a green player, you have to at least enjoy this card.
Absolutely. Like, green is definitely one of my favorite colors to play, and I've said that through and through. However, it's definitely a little frustrated because it feels directly for a Green Steel deck.
Yeah.
Especially with all of the Robin Hoods that are in Steel.
Yep, I love my Steel Robin Hoods. Robin Hood is such a great movie, too. So really excited. I'm hoping we'll get closer to the Shimmering Skies release. We should start seeing a pickup in card reveals, as we always do. So I'm really excited. We'll always share with you guys what the latest reveals are. We'll give you fair warning like we just did. So if anybody is avoiding spoilers or they just don't really like to hear the new stuff before it happens, then you can this is your time to dip out. But we're really excited for everything. I'm really excited to go into my second weekend of championships to see how I do with a better perspective and to understand that I don't need to win. It's okay that I don't win. I like to win. I really like winning. But I think I just enjoy the game casually, and that's fine. I even thought about bringing my Titan deck back and just playing with that because I love playing my Titan deck.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it's there for, right?
Yeah.
This is a game. You're there to have fun.
When you come down to it, it is a game. So about Disney characters, I mean, it's funny to see some of these buff grown men playing princess cards.
Absolutely. It's super funny to see some of the juxtaposition about who's playing what and what type of deck they're playing. So I will say I'm super excited. So last time I said how I was going to be an attendee at the Lorcana Challenge in Fort Worth, but actually I got off of the wait list and now I'm going to be a competitor.
Yay.
And so I'm super excited.
And so is your husband.
Yeah, my husband also got off the wait list. So we're both going to be competitors. And so this will be the first time we're competing together because he competed previously at Chicago. So I'm really excited. And we're just going to make a trip out of it because it's the summertime. Yeah. And so we're going to do a drive from Phoenix to Fort Worth and just have fun. Like I love traveling by car, so I'm really excited about it. My husband's not quite as excited about the drive, but we're taking our time. We're going to take 2 days to get there.
Yeah.
Don't have to take 2 days, but we're going to stop along the way, just enjoy the scenic drive and enjoy our summer break.
Is it a scenic drive from here to Texas?
I mean...
Or is it just dirt?
There's a lot of dirt, but it's still fun. I will say, because my husband and I, when we first started dating, we lived across town from each other. So we had to take hour-long drives to just spend time with each other. And so like we just were used to driving in the car for long periods of time. Now this will be like 18 hours of driving, but I think that's like some of our best conversations are in the car. So I'm excited about
rides. That. I think some of the best conversations happen in car rides.
Absolutely.
Plus you get to do karaoke, so we love to hear it.
Absolutely.
So we're really, really excited. We'll keep you guys posted on Twitter and on Instagram on how we're doing. We posted our results from last weekend if you want to check them out. My husband's coming in as a ruby amethyst. I think I said that already, but he's very excited. He's really hoping that bet will come through for him, and he will end up having Daryl playing One Piece card game, which would be so exciting. Also very excited. I know that we kind of talk about all things TCG a little bit too. We just picked up the Neopets TCG that just dropped.
Oh.
Which is so silly, but Neopets was such a staple in my childhood. Like I spent hours on that site, and my daughters have now started playing on that site. So I know that when it drops, we're going to start having them play and practice with that because it's a little bit more geared towards smaller kids as a TCG, and then hopefully work up to Lorcana. So
that's going to be so fun. I'm so excited.
One of our goals this year is to get my daughter excited for reading. Is like, okay, we'll start with Neopets once a week, and then we'll play Lorcana and get her there. So love to see it. See her at the locals. But thank you guys so much for listening.
And as always, make sure you follow us on all of our social media and email us if you have anything you would like to say, any questions you want us to answer on the podcast,
or any feedback, or you just want to say hi. We love talking to you guys. We love when you guys approach us at the locals too. So keep doing that. I love to meet new people, even if I don't look it all the time. I just have that face that I won't say the word of because we're trying to keep this a family-friendly podcast. So definitely, follow us at Lorcana Muses Pod or at the Lorcana Muses Podcast for Twitter and Instagram, or the Lorcana Muses at gmail.com. Thanks. Have a great day.